My lord, your grace. I hardly recognize you. I am Goditha, retainer of House Rosfield, loyal servant to the Phoenix and his shields.
Do I remember Gadatha?
Your father, the Archduke Elwyn, entrusted me with the delivery of a gift. I only hope you can forgive my tardiness in
18 years late, but I'll take it.
Lift up your head, Lady Gadatha. You have our gratitude for your service to our house and to our father.
I merely did my duty, as any proud Rosarian would.
My lady, perhaps you could explain a little more? What exactly is the gift you bring?
As I'm sure you know, it has long been the custom for the children of House Rosfield to be presented with certain keepsakes upon their coming of age.
Yes, I am very familiar.
Our father often
Not
spoke
actually.
of the day when our turn would come.
And had he lived to see it, he would have presented you with the treasures I bear. Matching armbands for you both. Alas, he did not live. Indeed, he was taken from us even before they could be completed. He had intended to claim the Heartstone with which each armband was to be finished himself.
Yeah, that's very
But it
sweet.
was not to be. And his gifts remain incomplete.
I see.
It saddens me to bring them before you, as they are. It was your father's wish that you be presented with the finished articles, not these works in progress. But with his grace long since gone, and the stone left unclaimed, I had little choice. You are grown men now, and his house is yours. And while I would not presume to insist upon your claiming the Heartstone in his stead, I know that nothing would have pleased him more than for you to do so.
Thank you, Lady Gadatha.
What say you, Clive?
What else? Of course, my lady. May our father's will be done.
Oh, I am much obliged.
Do you know where we might find this Heartstone, my lady?
I do. Though it may be a matter of a good deal more than simply happening upon it. It is found in the bellies of elder griffins, you see.
Okay,
We
I
do
could fight
at
that.
least know where to find one. A certain specimen has made its nest in Titan's Wake, not far from here.
A certain specimen?
You are most perceptive, Your Grace. In answer to your unspoken question, yes. In fact, this is the very same beast your father meant to slay.
Ah,
I've been tracking its movements since you were but a boy.
that's impressive. It's still
Were you
alive.
to slay it in his stead, as men of House Rosfield, it would surely make your father proud.
What say you, Joshua?
What else?
Let's go slay a griffin. The people that I know hate it because his music was featured in Brokeback Mountain. Brokeback Mountain was a good movie.
Titan's Wake is to the south.
I don't remember it being in Brokeback
But
Mountain,
we
though.
must not be hasty. The good lady
Oops.
has been disappointed once already.
Yeah, I don't remember it in Brokeback Mountain. It's been years since I've seen that movie, mind you. Like many, many, many years. I remember when it came out, it was like super controversial. Controversial. Hey, Kate, thank you for redeeming the hydrate, and welcome back, Bass. So I got some water. I'm going through water a lot more lately. Yeah, we're just doing some side quest cleanup. What'd you miss? Well, we fought Ultima. And we found out he's basically the god, like the literal god, that planted humanity, as well as the mother crystals. Because I guess the blight actually came from wherever Ultima is from. And so he put humans here to help like draw Aether out of the land. But then we gained a will of our own, and now he sees us as just kind of a pest that needs to be cleansed, I guess.
No use calling Ambrosia now.
And now we're just doing some side quests to clean up. We found out Torgal was being a good boy and was always looking for us, and now we found out Clive and Joshua's dad left them some inheritance in the form of 2 matching bracelets. So now we're gonna go and finish the bracelets by killing a griffin. Don't worry about it. Oh yeah, Bass, so this is KK. I don't know if you remember KK from way back, but she goes by Kate now. And yeah, she's back after many a long year gone. Which is very nice, by the way. It's been very nice to see her come back. Yeah, from like 5-6 years ago, something like that. See, Cooney says, I've never seen the movies. I'm just saying what I heard. Yeah, no, fair. Don't know off the top of your head. Perfectly reasonable. Like I say, it was a while ago. I remember. But I also remember, I kind of need to. So it's kind of thing, I kind of need to remember all these things. I keep people in my head. But yeah, so Brokeback Mountain, I remember when that movie came out, it was actually really controversial. Right? Like, controversial. Like, nowadays it'd be very, very nothing. Like nowadays it'd be kind of a nothing burger. But back then it was like, whoa, a romance movie about 2 gay men. Oh my God. And there's a sex scene in it. There isn't a sex scene in it. Right? There isn't. Not really, right? Like, people made it out to be like, whoa, they get naked and there's a full-on sex scene. It's like, no, you don't even see anything. They just have a very loving and tender moment inside a tent. You know, very, very, like, nothing, right? It's just, it's nothing, really. But it was such a controversial movie back in the day. It's so crazy. Now, it's probably more controversial in the sense that America, it was not, like, because being gay in America back then still wasn't really, like, accepted as much as it is now, right? In Canada, it was different. In Canada, it was more, like, accepted, of course. But, of course, you still had a lot of, had a lot of, it was still very, like, different, right? And then, and of course, you never saw gay people in movies or shows or cartoons or anything like that. You never saw gay people in it. So it's very unique and very different. And I remember when we watched the movie, because like my mom, my dad, and myself, I don't know if we bought or rented it. I want to say we bought it. And I remember watching it and just being like, man, good movie, right? Made me tear up in the end. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, good movie. Yeah, I was so flabbergasted by why there is even a controversy surrounding it at all. And yeah, and it was filmed actually not incredibly far from where I live. It would have been filmed like about 2-ish hours away, I think, because it was filmed in my province, right? So that kind of added a whole other cool layer to it. Is it's like, oh yeah, that beautiful area filmed not too far from where I live. If anybody here, like Cooney, for example, hasn't seen it, I recommend it. It's a good movie, right? It's a good romance movie. Simurg. You have a name?
For House Rossfield.
For House Rossfield. Level 40. He's definitely... Which is ladder? Oh, lordy. Yeah, let's go ahead and get some impulse going. Damn it, missed. I should have waited. Yeah, I want to get this to level. Oh, good. That was actually really good. I needed that. Okay, we can get him knocked down pretty shortly. Too slow, Samurg. I kind of want to watch Brokeback Mountain now. Yeah, you guys are making me want to see it again. Like I said, it's been years. Okay, Flames of Rebirth. I don't know if this is a kill. If this were the YouTube series, will it kill right now? I don't think I would. Yeah. Yeah, see how much damage Dancing Steel does now. I mean, this might get us up to level 5, like on its own. Ooh, it's gonna be close. Not quite, not quite. Oh my god, that did do a lot of damage though. Kingslayer. Oh, how fitting. Oh god. We are. Nah, okay, you can Witch's Ladder all you want, buddy. And dead? Not quite. Yeah, we'll kill it with Impulse. There you go. Ability finish. Nice. Yeah, it wasn't legalized until like 2008 and it came out in 2004. Yeah. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, it's so weird, you know, to think that in America at least, like being gay wasn't really accepted until like 2008. Like that really wasn't that long ago. You know? Like it's really, really interesting to think about. You haven't seen it, but you want to? I recommend it. I recommend it. It's really good. I barely watch romance movies. That's the only reason I didn't see it. No, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. You surprised they lived that? Yeah, same, right? 16 does have a cool battle system. I like it.
I expect Lady Goditha will know.
Like, to be fair, like, in a weird way, I'm even kind of doing it a disservice because I'm not really weaving between these like I would have earlier on in the game. It's just I'm a little over leveled because I've been doing everything. So I'm a smidge over leveled, if I'm being perfectly honest. Imagine how the new generations will react hearing that we saw a time when it was not openly accepted. I know, right? Like, that's kind of the funny thing, and it makes me once again feel a little bit old, is that I can say I've actually seen the change of the world like a decent bit compared to some people, right? Like, I mean, I was still young, like in the 90s, obviously. Like, I was born in like very late 91. So, you know, but I can still say like I grew up in an era where I can kind of at least remember how it was like before 9/11 happened. And what sort of happened after that, and people's rage at certain things. Then you have, you know, like being gay not being acceptable, saying certain things being more acceptable. You know, to just kind of like what's been going on lately, right? I can tell my kids that I was born a few months before the internet was invented. Ah, that's the other thing too, is that like I can say like I don't even know what I did before the internet happened, if I'm being honest. Because like when I was born, like yeah, the internet really wasn't that much of a thing, because the internet wasn't really a thing until like around like the early mid-ish 2000s. I don't even remember when like we got the internet as like a thing. But it was like, yeah, it was like it's absolutely crazy to think about, because like what would we do? Like I went outside and I played, you know, because yeah, like what, you know, because what did I do before the internet? I remember going outside and like playing with friends, sitting at home and playing video games. It was mostly like my spare time. It's like instead of going on the internet and like going on YouTube and watching videos and stuff, it'd be like, oh, I just sit down, I'd play video games, right? Maybe watch a movie, you know. And now it's like, now I think what I do now, it's like, well, what do I do now? Well, in my spare time, I go on YouTube. Yeah, I go on YouTube or something, you know, or I play video games still, right? Like, you know, like it's so weird to think that, like, without no internet at all, like I didn't, you know, like you had to open a book if you wanted to find something out, right? Crazy to think about, you know. It's weird. It's weird, and in the future, it's gonna be. Yeah, the next generation is probably gonna have that too. It's gonna be like VR headsets all over the place, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, I remember a day when you didn't have a VR headset, or when VR headsets were really clunky, and you know you had a cable going out the back. Now it's like you put on goggles, and then like that's it, right? And they'd be like, "Oh, Grandpa, man, you're so weird. That's crazy talk, right?" Man, I love how technology advances. I love that stuff. It's crazy.
Oh, thank the Founder you were safe. The Griffin is slain then?
Indeed.
And the Heartstone claimed.
Griffins suffer something akin to the crystal's curse, their flesh slowly turning to stone over a lifetime of channeling aether. Unlike bearers, however, the effect is far more gradual and limited to a sac around their hearts. A slower progress of petrification resulting in the formation of a gemstone of rare beauty. And Kate says, wow, I can't even imagine.
Radiant luster like
I know,
frozen
right?
flame.
It's crazy.
It's just as your father described it. Thank you, my lord. Your grace. Your father would be so proud.
Lady Goditha, the lapidary is ready.
Thank you, Cyril. I will be with him shortly. If you would excuse me, I shall have the stone cut and set forthwith. The armbands are complete. Pray, take them. They are yours, after all. Heartstone is harder and more enduring than garnet, or even ruby. It symbolizes unwavering will and devotion. And the graven vines encircling the stone represent the unbreakable bonds between you.
That sounds really good.
It's a message. Father knew we had enemies both inside and outside the duchy. Enemies who would thwart his vision. Only with unwavering devotion would it ever be realized.
And only if we stood together, as Phoenix and Shield, as brothers in arms. Only then might those enemies be overcome.
Indeed. His Grace knew the enormity of the task he would entrust to you, his heirs. But this was more than just a message. It was a promise. That he would always be with you.
Thank you, Lady Goditha, for remaining the steadfast custodian of our father's will.
Thanks, Goditha.
My lady, but
there is something I don't quite understand. The Undying told me that after Father died, Mother claimed all of the ducal treasures for her own. Even if the armbands were incomplete, she would surely not have overlooked them. So, how were you able to keep them from her?
I'm kind of curious about that too.
Because I was the keeper of the vault. Though I was but a lowly servant, your father spoke to me of his intentions for the bands, of the deep love he had for both of you, and his hopes for your future. In the days before the disaster at Phoenix Gate, I discovered that the Duchess had ordered her jewelry be sent away from the castle. It was then that I knew she meant to betray us.
That makes a lot of sense.
I tried to warn your father, but it was too late. When word of the fire reached Rosalith, I knew my time was short. So I took up the armbands and I fled into the night.
And thank the Founder you did.
Yet my duty to your father was incomplete. Not knowing what else to do, I followed the Griffin, thinking I might claim the Heartstone on its passing. And so my pursuit continued, until Lord Cyril appeared before me. He informed me that His Grace's will had been recovered, and that his sons were alive and well.
Lady Goditha, on behalf of my father and all the people of Rosaria, I thank you for your loyal service.
As do I.
Thank you, my lord. Your grace, for coming back to us, for giving my service meaning.
The Foundry's grasp, so I got a thing? I mean, it didn't say quest complete, but like, did I get... What was it I got? Oh, I got, it's a wristband, so it should be this. The Foundry's grasp. Oh, look at that. That's a lot more health. That's like 20 more HP. That's pretty good. Fashioned after those pictured adorning the wrists of the mythical founder in ancient engravings, Archduke Elwyn intended to gift these bands to his beloved sons upon their coming of age, that they might serve to remind him of the unbreakable bonds they share as proud scions of the ducal line, and the unwavering devotion that would be required to see their duty done. I will use this.
The bands suit you well.
Yeah, thanks.
It must be gratifying to finally receive the inheritance that was denied you for so long.
It is. And we thank you for the part you played, Cyril.
If you would permit me to play my part a little longer, might I suggest that you make your way to your father's memorial atop Hawk's Cry Cliff. Let him see that you have received his blessing, and that his vision lives on in you.
I suppose it would be churlish not to. What do you say, Clive? Should we pay father a visit?
I think we should. I was hoping to be able to offer him my thanks before we left for Origin.
It can be a
Your
touching moment at the
father's hand
gravesite.
is enshrined there. It has been since the day we recovered it from Phoenix Gate. I prithee claim it, for it too is a part of your inheritance, and I do not doubt that your father would prefer it in your hands than perched upon some lonely rock.
Thank you, Cyril. Come on, Clive. He's waiting.
Yeah, I actually have a bit of a story, actually. A very small and minor one, but actually I saw Bass say something in his message, and it got me thinking. So I'll read that, and then I'll tell my story. But first, posture check and hydrate. Let's go ahead and do that. Do got a little bit of water in here. It's probably enough for one more sip after, if need be. Probably go for like another half hour. I know it's going to be going a little bit longer than we normally would, but yeah. Kate has your turn, so it's a bit of a special day. Let's see, Beth says, you know, this isn't really relevant, but I remember when the library was like the hub for the town, and I think they still could be. It's not just for books. I tried a lot of games there. You could even borrow consoles, I think. Ebooks, movies, shows, even stuff like 3D printing classes. Yeah, I heard you can borrow games from a library now, which is kind of interesting. So, I kind of also remember when like libraries are pretty important. I never really had, was never much of a book guy, so I never really went to a library, but it's true. That was generally seen as a very big deal. And like just talking about like consoles, like I remember when you could go to Blockbuster, showing my age once again, and rent a console, right? I remember renting the original Xbox a few times. Probably a complete waste of money, to be honest. Renting consoles, you could just buy one, right? But I remember doing that a few times. And I'm pretty sure one thing I did, and this is really stupid in hindsight, but I was also really young, so I don't think of it, right? And this is going back to Final Fantasy X, funnily enough. So Final Fantasy X, back before I owned it, when the PS2 came out, because I didn't have a PS2 on launch. I waited a little bit. I don't know how long I waited until I got a PS2, but I did not have a PS2 on launch. Instead, we rented a PS2. And I remember going into my local game shop, and I remember looking at Final Fantasy X, the case of Final Fantasy X. And I was like, oh, I liked Final Fantasy 7 a lot. So I'll go ahead and I'll pick up Final Fantasy 10. And so I rented Final Fantasy 10 along with a PlayStation 2 because my mom and dad were letting me rent a PS2 at the time. I don't remember for what reason. I think I don't know for what reason, but I know they let me rent a PS2. And obviously they don't rent out the memory cards as well. So I couldn't actually save my game of Final Fantasy 10, which, you know, is really not great. So I remember, and I did this a couple times when we rented it, because I think we rented it a couple times, or was it only once? I want to say it was a couple times. I think I rented it a couple times before we eventually bought one. And I remember playing through Final Fantasy 10, and so you got to remember, I could not die in the game. Otherwise, I had to start the game all over again. And I remember making it multiple times to, I think it was Lake Macalania, and losing at the robot boss that's there. I want to say that's where I lost a lot of my games to. Which, you know, means I had to then start over again, which I did happily, funnily enough. But I remember, yeah, no, that was really weird and really kind of stupid of me. Like, in hindsight, I now realize I could have just bought a memory card and had the memory card for when I played the game, right? But I don't think of that. Not like it mattered anyway, because I only realized this after I bought the after I was bought a PS2. I was like, you know what? I could have just had a memory card. Like, I could have had my own personal memory card for when I rented the system. And it was funny because the game I got, I want to say it was like a birthday gift or something. I got a PS2 and I got GTA Vice City and Final Fantasy X. And I played, that's when I got a memory card and I played through Final Fantasy X. And I actually beat it, and it was great. And I never would have been able to beat it without saving, though. The game had a lot of moments where you could just die, from what I remember. Especially when you're young and dumb like I was. So, you know. Yeah, that was really interesting. So imagine, and if you're wondering how I did it, I would do it by never turning the console off. If I was playing Final Fantasy X and I would play like all day, and then at night I would leave the console on just because I couldn't save, and then I would wake up and then I would play the game continuously again, and then I'd probably die at like Macalania or something. Man, those are weird times. Weird times back then. See, Cooney says, I remember my parents bought us an Xbox. Because we didn't like it, we just returned it and got a package with PS2 plus Final Fantasy X in it. We also didn't have a way to save for at least a year. That's funny. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that had Final Fantasy X but didn't save for one reason or another, right? Man, certainly a fresh hell, though. Republican Gate, what's that? The Gates of Randola. So I guess the thing I need to do would be go here. You got to Macalania without a save? Yeah, I did, actually. I'm pretty sure I got to Macalania without a save. I'm pretty sure that's how far I made it. Because I remember dying to... Yeah, I did. Because I remember dying to the sled boss. And then going like, oh, man. I'm probably close to the end of the game. And... yeah, no, I wasn't. But, you know, I remember that quite vividly. I don't know how I made it that far on no save, to be honest. Like, say, besides leaving it on. Right, like leaving the game system on.
This isn't a charity.
I don't have the money for that.
Farewell, traveler.
My mom was always angry when we let the console running and just turned it off, energy consumption and all. See, I just didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my parents that's what I did.
I've got a new design for a blade. Call it. Can cleave through rock as if it were flax.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they didn't know. I'm pretty sure I didn't tell them. I just left it running, which in hindsight wouldn't have been good for the console anyway, but you don't have a way to save when you're a young kid. It's like, well, you know, I'll just leave it going. We also didn't, but she checked in from time to time at night when she saw it running, just pulled the plug. Man, waking up to that must have been like, oh no. Must have felt pretty bad.
Here we are again. Carava. If you were a tortoise, Torgal, where would you hide?
Probably right there, because I can see it. Desert tour.
Like we found it.
Yeah, we can hit this. We should get to level 5, I think, relatively easily. Okay, we still need a little bit into 5. Damn it. Okay, there we go. Okay, staggering you. That is good. Oh, no. I was going to say I'm going to get hit by that. Okay, prime up. Hit the old limit break. Should do more damage because we're primed, I'm pretty sure. Whoa! And then we do this. And whoosha! And this should actually finish you. Oh, look at that. Didn't even get to finish the animation. Be slain, Adamantoise. Be slain. Let's see. Bass says, I had a PS2 and later an Xbox back when the PS3 and Xbox 360 were out, and later a Wii as well. I always make sure to make each game last. There were plenty of games where you could play anytime. Yeah, right? Like, it really, that's kind of the other thing you had to do when you were younger, right? You had to make a game last. Yeah, like I'm trying to think. I think I typically got like the next gen console roughly like a year after it came out. Typically, like nowadays it's still kind of the same. I don't usually get a console straight away. Like I think at Switch I got the Switch when Smash was coming out, and like the only time I'd say that was actually different was when the 360 came out, and I don't know why that was. I think I was just really excited. And when the PS3 came out, now the PS3, I did have to like really ask my mom for that one because that was when Metal Gear Solid 4 was coming out. And oh well, no, because that wasn't a launch title though, was it? No, I don't think it was the launch title. So I think I got it a bit later as well. But I got it when MGS4 came out. Because when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, I was really into Metal Gear Solid, like the series. And I remember going, okay, Mom, I need to finish the story. Like, I gotta, like, it's the end of the story. I gotta finish it. I gotta get it when it comes out. I gotta get a PS3. And she was actually very surprisingly okay with that. She was like, yeah, okay, we'll do it. And then the day we went down there and we got a PS3 and a copy of MGS4, which I then went home immediately and played, which is really, really nice. You never got anything past the Wii because of the move and all, and also because he actually got the 3DS on release. Yeah, I think that's perfectly good, yeah. Perfectly fine. Like even now, I don't. Well, I don't have a PS5, but that's mostly because I just use Megan's. I just borrow Megan's. She doesn't mind. It is believed in Adamantoise will grow a thin new layer to its protective shell once every 2 moons. Considering that many of the creatures live for hundreds of years, it should come as no surprise that the shells of older specimens can be several hands thick and weigh over 50 stone.
I better get these materials to Mid so she can finish her prototype.
Never had many buy games. My dad just got a few from his colleagues. Not sure how exactly. I mean, hey, you know, you get them how you can, right? Like, I didn't get a ton of games. I mostly rented. Like, I would buy some, but a lot of games at the time I would rent because renting was just very easy to do. And you could finish most games in, like, a single rental. That's kind of why, like, now, like the way I talk about certain games, you'd probably imagine my actual collection would be much bigger. But it's actually pretty small compared to what I'm sure other people have. But then again, I have quite a few. Like I was putting them on the shelves. I did take pictures. I'll have to send some pictures to you guys sometime. I'll like post them in the Discord just so I can show you guys my game collection because I have them all on a shelf now, which is quite nice. And honestly, like having them on the shelves, it really kind of shows you, no, my collection was actually decently sized. Not like super big, but, you know, bigger than what I thought it was, to be honest. Playing DMC at the age of 11 is kind of not good. I mean, that game would be pretty hard. If you're talking about, like, the contents of the game, I could imagine that, to be fair.
War's ill-gotten guilt, perhaps.
But yeah, that's yeah, I mostly just rented. Like that's how come I know of like Mr. Mosquito and Guitar Man, because like man, if I bought those games when they came out, I wouldn't have had to spend as much later on to get them. First game was pretty creepy. I think I played the second. I don't know if I might have played the first. I never finished any of them. I know I played at least one Devil May Cry. Low battery.
To help me pack. Thanks, but I'll be
during
traveling light. I'm almost finished already, in fact.
You're really going to go through with this then?
I'm gonna plug this in during the cutscene.
But before I go, there is one small issue I'd like your assistance with.
Nah, what's that, Luber?
Two, in fact.
If it's within my power to help you, I will.
It's the children. I refuse to let them share in my disgrace. And if I leave them here, they surely will. Our friendship would see them ostracized forever. But I can't take them with me either. I can think of only one place where they are certain to be safe and provided for and loved. The Hideaway.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. The children would be more than
Why
welcome.
would we just take Lubor to the Hideaway?
Thank you, Clive. I will not forget this.
Lubor, are you still here?
What is it, Ferda? You look pale.
There's been a flood in the Velcroy, a damn big one. The League of Outlaws encampment was completely submerged in ether.
What?
Every last one of the bastards has turned.
Ah, no.
And they're headed this way.
Bandits are one thing, but Akashic bandits are quite another. The town guard won't stand a chance against them. We need to evacuate. There's no time to lose. Ferda, gather the men. The Akashic may strike at any moment. We must make ready to cover the townspeople's escape. Well, what are you waiting for?
Yes, my lord.
Clive, change of plan. The children stay with me for now. I need you to find Conrad and Natalie. Tell them to prepare for a full and immediate evacuation.
Understood.
I'll do what I can to convince everyone else. Wish me luck.
Lines in the Sand 2. See, Cooney says first one's done with the horror game with a bit of comedy. Later ones are the other way around. Yeah, that kind of reminded me. So, hold on. Where do I need to go for this? I hear. So, when my parents never cared like what I did. They never, like, if something was mature, I could play it or watch it anyway. They literally didn't care. Their whole mindset was, you're old enough to know what's fake and what's real, and you're old enough to know to like not do bad things. So go kind of do whatever you want, right? And I remember one very specific memory. In this old house that we were renting at the time, I was playing Conqueror's Bad Fur Day. And if you know Conqueror's Bad Fur Day, you know that's not a game that most kids would be playing. But I was playing that, and I remember I was at this one point where you gotta, this is gonna sound really weird out of context, but you gotta bounce on the sunflowers like boobs. So you can go high up and land on the sledge to get some money. And man, Conqueror's Bad Fur Day is like good out of context, man. And I remember, I think we were, I don't remember what was going on. I don't know if we were moving away from the house to come to the city where we live now. But I remember there was a guy in there. And he was like jotting down like little things about the house. He was like going room to room. And I was sitting there playing Conqueror's Bad Fur Day in my room. And they come in, my mom and this guy come in, and they look at the TV, and I think my mom might have been a little bit embarrassed. I'm not really too sure. But I remember the guy looking at the TV and just seeming like kind of weird, like he thought it was kind of strange. And I think I might have just said, yeah, you need to bounce on the sunflower's boobs to get money. And I was like, oh geez, man, you know, you don't think about these things until you're older, and then you realize, yeah, it maybe sound a little bit dodgy, right?
You have to listen to me. They're coming. You need to evacuate.
Why do they always have to make such a...
Ah, it's you.
'Tis me indeed.
What do you want, Lord Underhill?
To pass on an important message. There's been an ether flood out in the Velcroy. The camp where the so-called League of Outlaws were gathering has been swallowed. They're no longer just bandits. They're Akashic now, and they could be here at any moment. You need to begin preparing for a full-scale evacuation right away.
Oh, do we? And who was it who gave you this disturbing news, might I ask?
Lubor, perhaps? The man spreading the same poison out in the square as we speak. You may believe his lies, my lord, but we know better.
But why would he lie about something like this?
Yeah, like why?
Some twisted attempt at revenge, perhaps. If he had not been unmasked, he may well have been elected our leader. A great honor for one of his kind. One he might well feel aggrieved at having been denied.
Lord Underhill, forgive me, but it has become all too evident where your sympathies lie. Lubor cannot be trusted.
And your prejudices are clouding your judgment, though.
You may not trust me, but for the sake of your people, ask yourselves if there is any chance that this is true.
There isn't. You can be certain of that. Now be off with you.
Man.
You're making a mistake.
Prejudices can make people so blind, you know?
Come, Clive. If our words will not move them, then we must find another way to help save the town.
You're right. Let's speak to Lord Ferda.
And you're lying now.
Where are we going? The Lock of... What? The Lock of what? The Lock of Toil. Which I believe is this way. Yeah.
I think we'd better shut up. What's Lubor raving about now?
Do 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 do. Now let me go and talk with this person first. I want to see if they have anything for me.
I can interest you in?
Bum 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 bum. You do have this. I'll take it.
An excellent choice.
Lord Ferda.
Sid, what's wrong?
I went to warn Conrad and Natalie about the Akashic, but they wouldn't listen. They've convinced themselves that nothing Lubor says can be trusted.
The bloody fools.
Which means the town guard can't be counted on for support. But I can. If there's anything I can do to help you defend Dalamil, You only have to ask.
I appreciate it.
Sid! Further! I've been looking for you everywhere.
Victor? I thought you'd left.
I couldn't abandon a friend in need.
Good man, Victor.
You boys in need at this very moment. Come quickly. You have to believe me. The Akashic are coming. They don't eat. They don't sleep. They don't tire. And they don't care who they kill. They're unlike anything that's come before. There won't be no parley, no mercy granted. We may have saved the town once, but this is different. I do not ask that you forgive me, but please believe me. If you do not run, you will die. You will all fucking die!
You'd like that, wouldn't you, bearer?
Man, that's so much like hatred in her eyes too. Jeez.
Your kind will be free to claim Dalamil for yourselves.
You should run!
Run, bearer!
Yeah, run! Far, far away! Just go!
Yeah. Come on, then.
Man, fuck these people, dude. Jeez.
Wait, someone's coming.
The children to the rescue.
Stop! You're hurting him!
Okay, that's just rude.
What did Lubor ever do to you? He solves all your stupid problems, and he keeps all of you safe.
Yeah, that's right, kids. You tell them.
You know there's nothing he wouldn't do for this town. Who was it who made that cleaver you use every day, Conrad?
And what about your counting table, Natalie? Who fixed that?
Whose men make sure the streets are clean so all your boots don't get dirty?
Who spends all day, every day making sure things run smoothly round here? And none of you ever say thank you. Ever.
But did Lubor ever complain? Well, does he ever stop smiling?
He keeps this whole place going. And you act like it doesn't even exist.
Dude, the kids are speaking so much like truth here, dude.
Lubor, we've heard enough.
Wait!
We will not run. The town guard will not abandon the very place it is sworn to protect.
And I will not give up for lost the stores that we labored so hard to fill.
So tell us, how do you propose we deal with these Akashic of yours?
We won't run, but we will fight.
All right, then.
Fine.
Good job, kids.
Gather round if you don't want to die.
That's good. That was a good cutscene. That was a really good cutscene.
Allow me to explain the situation.
Nah, please do.
The ether flood occurred near the village of Cheratina, deep in the Velcroy. The place had been abandoned for years, until the League of Outlaws decided to make it their base of operations. Now they're all turned, and if the scouts' reports are correct, heading in this direction.
They are mindless monsters, driven only by hate and rage.
Nah, he's not bleeding anymore. Continuity error.
With the bandits, we at least knew how and where they were likely to attack. When these creatures come, Dalamil will have the bitterest fight it has ever faced on its hands. The town guard will muster at the north gate. The rest of us will take the south. Both forces will provide men to serve as scouts and messengers, ready to spread word of the size and nature of the Akashic force as soon as it is spotted. And as soon as it has been, we will converge on its position and see that it is driven back from Dalamil at all costs. Conrad, can I count on the support of the town guard?
Always.
I leave the selection and coordination of the messengers in your hands, Victor. And the command of our men in yours, Ferda. If you would both be so kind.
Consider it done. As you wish.
Natalie, I would ask that you and your people have the townsfolk barricade themselves inside the bathhouse. And tell the merchant not to waste time securing anything beside the essentials. Preserving life is our one and only concern. As long as we survive, it doesn't matter what trinkets we might lose. Our riches can be regained. And if anyone doubts that, let it be known that the Briar's Kiss stands ready to cover any losses.
Very well. I shall tell them.
Where do I fit into this plan?
Yeah, tell me what to do.
Where else but the most perilous place of all?
Slaughtering the Akashic.
Like
Perfect, I can do that.
To the home of our erstwhile League of Outlaws, Cheratina itself. The main host is most likely still there, and Dalamil will not be safe until it is eradicated, root and branch.
A little gardening. How pleasant.
I doubt it. I have a feeling these weeds will be particularly stubborn.
Luckily, so am I.
So you are. All right then, we all know what we have to do. Now it's simply a matter of doing it. For Dalamil.
This game does good cutscenes, dude. See, like I said, the early quests may have been a bit boring.
I'd better not keep them waiting.
To an extent. These ones, though, really good, really solid. Unfortunately, I'm probably gonna need to save it here and end the stream here, because like truth be told, I want to keep going, but I'm also getting hungry, so I probably should stop and grab some food. But first, I do want to just read the last couple of things here in the chat. Bass says, I know my parents really didn't like it when we played No More Heroes, even though we were 18. Like, some parents are just like that, right? Like, mine were just very chill with a lot of that stuff. And I don't know, I feel like it came up pretty all right. So I think they were right, to be honest. He just leveled up his regen. That's good. That's good. But yeah, unfortunately, probably about time we put an end to this for now. I will be sure to go and remove all those bots that came at us earlier. I'll remove all those, maybe try to remove them by tomorrow. So we should be able to finish the game tomorrow, like for real, which should be nice. I'm actually excited for that. I did check the Next Fest recommendations. I did manage to do a few of them. I haven't uploaded them to the YouTube channel yet, but I did get a few demos done, and I think there are still some that are still up that I might actually do if I can. A couple of them I did play but didn't record, and unfortunately that's not my fault really. Some of them were just giving me a lot of trouble. Like, I'm not too sure why. Maybe it was like a computer update thing. Maybe it was for some other reason. But some of the games that I tried for the demo didn't run well for me on OBS. For the demo, yeah, for like Next Fest. Some of them didn't run well for me on OBS, which really surprised me. Some of them were actually pretty poo-poo. to run on OBS. Like the game would play fine, but the OBS recording would be like a frame by frame, right? I don't know why that is. I assume some of the games are just very unoptimized, which is fair because it's a demo, right? So some of them didn't want to work too well. So some of them I played, and I can talk about those ones later. But some of them I have recorded and just haven't uploaded yet. I promise I'll be uploading those pretty soon, actually. Meant to get them out sooner, but just kind of had a lot going on and haven't really gotten around to it. Yeah, some of them didn't run well in general, and it could have affected OBS. It could have. Like, it's, I don't know. It was kind of unfortunate. There were a few that I did, and one of them I actually had to re-record after the fact. But yeah, some of them were just, they didn't want to work for me. Like, normally it's not a problem. This OBS, or this Next Fest in particular, had a lot of games that I tried that were like that. But hopefully you guys enjoy the ones that you'll end up seeing. I will say we should be able to finish the game tomorrow, by the way. I think I said that, but I'll say it again. I think we can finish this game tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. Also, just a bit of a heads up. There won't be a stream on Friday because I need to actually head out and do stuff outside. Ooh. But there will be a stream on Saturday because Toby and I have talked about playing some more Desolate. So we're going to be playing some more Desolate on Saturday. But there won't be a stream on Friday because I gotta go out. So we're still gonna get the same amount of streams this week. It's just one of them's gonna be on the weekend, which for some might even be better, to be honest. So that should be fun. Speaking of Toby, maybe we'll go ahead and send Toby a raid. Because right now Toby's playing Little Nightmares, which is a game I enjoyed a lot when I played it. Yeah. Whoops. I copied and pasted the wrong thing. Toby Scales, here we go. Yeah. So once again, I'll just yeah. See, it's very easy to forget I played that, right? Because that was when I played like for a day, and then after that it was like, oh, it's over. Good game. All right, so go ahead and stick around for the raid for Toby. Let's say they're playing Little Nightmares. Feel free to give them a nice reg raid and follow them if you haven't, because Toby is a really good friend of mine. So I do, if you like me, you'll probably like Toby. Heck, you might even like Toby even more. So go give Toby a follow, please. For now, though, from me, I suppose that is it. I'm just gonna mute the game here. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. But for now, it is time we cue the outro. So Fraggo, and I shall catch you guys tomorrow.